Today I have a Citizens Echo Drive men's wristwatch. This is my watch that I have owned, I believe, since 2010. When I got it, I, at the time, splurged on a watch, and I think around the time I bought this, the retail cost of it was $500, which to me was crazy expensive. And I never had a good watch or a somewhat decent watch. And I know watches can cost $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, whatever. But for me, $500 was a huge deal. And certainly before I go on, I apologize for the lighting here. It's just, it's not the greatest. I'm getting shadows no matter what I do. So I'm trying to work around that. That being said, the premise of this watch is, I believe, it never needs a battery, or the battery always gets charged. I think that's really how it works, by the sunlight. And then I also believe you can't physically set the time on it because it uses some radio signal, I believe, and it will automatically adjust its time on its own. And I never really did a good job of figuring out how all that worked. And yeah, so like it's totally dead. It was in a cabinet for a few years and it just kind of came out of the cabinet, so I just thought I would take a look at it. I also really, and still do, think this is a handsome watch. And the hard part about it is, while I do like watches, and I used to have multiple watches, but for the past 3 years I've been wearing a Apple iWatch, and I refuse to take it off unless I'm sleeping and charging it. So the idea of wearing something that's tracking my fitness and my steps is a mental issue that I have at this point. I suppose I could be strange and wear two watches, but nothing's really considered strange these days. And that reminds me, I do have a coworker who I think wears a Fitbit on one wrist and an Apple iWatch on the other. And I think the Fitbit has to do with the health insurance. You get discounts if you're tracking that stuff through the Fitbit, and then he just has the iWatch. That would still be a little much for me. So I'm gonna see if I can revive this by like just leaving it in the window. Now I don't know if it does have an onboard battery, which I would think it would, because how would if it's solar powered, how would it be powered? Again, I'm not a super watch guy in terms of know how they mechanically work or digitally work, but I will put it in a window and see what happens. But I should imagine if there's a cell in here, it's dead. And at that point, I don't know if I'm really going to deal with that. I'm pretty sure it does, because I think when I took it one time, they told me if they break the seal in the back, it's no longer as water resistant as it once was. So in the comment box, if somebody knows about these watches or watches, I would really appreciate a comment there. And if it's not a big deal to kind of get this working again, I would maybe let someone in the family have it or use it. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.